Hi, I'm Rachel Goodwin and I'm a channel and healer who loves to teach and empower others. My work is about teaching you how to make a strong and powerful connection with your divinity, your divine spark, soul, higher self, whatever you want to call it, and then bringing that divine power right smack centre into the middle of your life so that it mixes and integrates with your everyday life and your everyday self. To me, this is ascension as it creates an overall rising of vibration and is where my path and yours has always been leading. So today we have a really great interview. Tor Webster, spiritual medium, sacred tour guide. You can hear about the man behind Tor's tours. And he's gone online now, and we're going to be hearing all about that. This is one of my favourite subjects. Sacred Earth, Glastonbury. I'm sure many of you will have been there. Tor's lived there 20 years. He's got a lot of experience of walking the land. And he loves reading old books about Glastonbury. And he's writing one at the moment, sharing all of his knowledge. So, without further ado, here's the interview with Tor Webster for you. So, welcome everybody to another episode of Sacred You. And today we are interviewing Tor Webster, who is a man I've been trying to get hold of for a while. But it seems that COVID-19 has slowed him down a bit because there's not so many travellers coming to Glastonbury now, which is where he lives and works from. And would you like to introduce yourself, Tor? Hi.
Hi there. Yeah. I'm a tour guide, sacred tour guide, based in Glastonbury. I do tours to Avebury, Stonehenge, Tintagel most weeks, and I also do tours up to Scotland and Ireland.
Exciting stuff. And I've heard from many people, Tor, that they think you're absolutely fantastic and they've loved coming on your tours.
Oh, thank you.
But things are a bit different now with the new climate of COVID-19, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But just to start with, it would be really nice for us to hear a bit about you and where are you from?
Well, I've lived in Glastonbury for 20 years, so I guess that's quite a massive part of my life. I was born in Cheltenham, Gloucestershire, 44 years ago. 44 this year, just turned 44, which is very exciting. I enjoyed my 33rd year, and I think already the 44th year is really, really exciting and really, really full of things going on already. And I've lived in Denmark. I've lived in New Zealand. I've lived many places. Traveled a lot. Traveled around the world about 4 times. And I'm kind of settled here in Glastonbury, but I probably want to move at some point into the countryside a bit more deeper into the countryside. I need some more trees in my life,
Yeah, I totally get that. I've been doing some training in Norse shamanism in Sweden and sort of like in the deep like wilds, and I really like the nature around where I live in Roskilde in Denmark. But when I go to Sweden, it's like, oh no, when I come back here everything looks so tame, and there's just too many people around. And so I think a lot of us have that longing.
Well, the trees are kind of like our friends, I remember the time after the Ice Age when the ice and floods had stripped the landscape of anything worth, keeping. And I remember planting trees that created the soil again, the peat and the kind of the whole rebuilding the planet, you know, through the trees.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really love trees as well. They're just like, I can't be around a place where they're not, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's why it's difficult in Glastonbury, because
yeah,
we've got the Somerset levels, which
yeah.
trees not well. We do have the odd tree, but I miss the ancient forests, you know.
Yeah, we've got some really nice beech forests here
Mm.
around where we live, and that's nice because they're not so common now in England. I think we lost quite a lot of beeches around
Yeah.
where I grew up, anyway, in the southeast of England. I think a lot of storms took them out, but there's loads and loads of beech forests around here,
Mm.
and they're a
Mm.
really favourite tree of mine. So.
Mm.
But I mean, how was life for you, kind of growing up? What was it like being a child?
I still am a child. I don't think I'll ever not be a child. I think hopefully anyway. Well, I was very fortunate because my mother was a yoga teacher, and my father was an osteopath. So I was brought up in a very alternative environment. I call them the upper crusties, basically, because they were quite well. My dad was pretty well off. He was a uh, very successful osteopath, and he was about to become the dean of the British School of Osteopathy before he had a stroke when it about how many 20 years ago now. Yeah. So yeah, I had a blessed childhood. I lived in the middle of a wood, and our nearest neighbor was about half a mile up the private road that we lived in, and it's like a fairy tale house, you know. I mean, it was totally haunted, but it was about a 500-year-old house. It used to be a hamlet of weavers' cottages, and then the cottages were demolished or or built together. And I kind of had my introduction to the other worlds, which was not a very pleasant introduction, sadly, because angry, unhappy ghosts. But yeah, I mean, it got me connected to those realms, and it brought me on quickly on my healing journey, and so I can't complain about that. And actually, my main teacher in life was the woman that attempted to exorcise these ghosts when I was about 8 or 9. She's a trance medium now. She's in her early 90s, and she taught, well, not really taught, but she inspired my mother and I to be trance mediums as well. So that's another element of what I do. Which,
Yeah, so without those ghosts being there, that
hmm,
connection might not have been made. So
yeah, and
yeah,
I can still feel them around me. Like there's some deeper connection, you know. They actually when she tuned into those ghosts, so basically the whole story was, I was in quite an old part of the house, like in the middle of the house, a tiny little rickety old room, and there was a porch that was built um, in the I think 1400s, which was later on, and the porch had a room above the porch, which was a tiny little room that we used as a closet, basically, and that the doorway into that closet was into my room. And every night I couldn't sleep without keeping my eyes on that door. I always thought it was going to swing open. There was a lot of activity moving between that room and my room. And I started getting like a breathing disorder, which my mum thought was panic attacks, basically, because I had a lot of nightmares. which children do really. And then this lady came and tuned into it and told us that a baby had died of diphtheria. That was the room. The closet was the child's bedroom, and it died of diphtheria. And the parents had never forgiven themselves, and they were searching for their child, and they projected their child onto me, basically. And that's why I started getting the kind of symptoms of diphtheria, the breathing disorders. Talking about it now, I can still feel it kind of coming up again. It's really interesting. And so I was moved out of that room, and we tried to clear it, but they followed me up to the room that I continued living in, and still around me, but not as heavy really. But it's all part and parcel. It's not so consuming now, but it's still an interesting link.
Yeah. So how old were you then when that was happening?
I was probably about 9, maybe.
Yeah. And then you and your mum got into learning about, trance mediumship.
Well, she was studying with this lady already, even when I was that young, and I started working, kind of, or channeling myself when I was, even like about 12, 13. And then by the age of 16, I was basically doing trance mediumship, where allowing a teacher that was actually part of my higher self speaking through me. My mum taught me how to automatic write, which was not really good for me because I'm dyslexic. So I kind of felt I kind of moved directly into the trance mediumship quite early on, and I've had about 6 different teachers work with me since then, and every teacher has brought me up into a different kind of different space, evolution. It's been fascinating to observe the evolution of which is actually quite natural for people, but not everybody gets to observe it and be conscious of it.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. So when did you first go to Glastonbury then? How did all that start?
Well, I remember very young, probably about, well, maybe about 6 or 7, I think, that I remember being taken with my parents to the Castle Hotel in Taunton, which is still there now. And I think it was Gordon Ramsay that was doing like a kind of meal and music kind of experience. They had a concert, like a classical concert, and wine and food and things like that. I didn't really know much about it, but and on the way to Taunton from Cheltenham, we were living in at the time, we stopped off in Glastonbury, and I think it was the first time my mum had ever been to Glastonbury. And I remember sitting around the well in the Chalice Well, and feeling very, very in tune with the place. And then we went through Exmoor and spent some time in Exmoor. And then we went to the hotel and spent a couple of nights there. And when I was sitting in the audience listening to the classical music, I went on an out-of-body experience. And it's the only time I've had such a vivid out-of-body experience. I'm sure I've had other kind of, similar experiences, but nothing as intense as that. And literally, I felt my soul move up into the ceiling and out through the roof, and I flew back to Exmoor, and I was traveling over where we were that day in the beautiful little waterfall. And then I went back to Chalice Well, and I was sitting at Chalice Well, and I remember in that out of body experience, this old man come and sit next to me, and I had no idea who he was, but I remember it. and then later on, many years later, I realized it was Joseph of Arimathea, who is kind of a main archetype in my life and in my work, you know. So that was the first time I remember being in Glastonbury. And the next time I was only about 9 or 10 again, and I was up on top of Glastonbury Tor. My mum had taken me there, and we were there with another family who was friends of our family, and they had younger kids than I was. And I remember my mum bought a pack of medicine cards, you know, the medicine cards, the Native American animal cards.
Yeah.
And she bought a pack in town, and she opened it and asked me to pick a card, and I picked the bear. I remember it very, very clearly, up on top of the Tor. And then we went home that night, and I, you know, the kids were staying at our house, and I said, oh, I'd like to make a story, tell them a story, a bedtime story. And my mum said, okay. And I started channeling, basically. You know, I can't call it anything else. And I took them back to Glastonbury, and we went into the tunnels under the Tor, and we came to the center of the Tor, and there were 3 doorways there, and we had to choose one of the doorways, and you know, one contained gold and the other one something else and something else. And as we about to choose one of the doorways, and this massive dragon came from nowhere, and we were all like scared, and then the dragon asked, what are you doing here? And we said, oh, we just want to see what's behind the door, really. And I can't remember the rest of the story, but I remember that bit. That was the story I was kind of, you know, inspiring. You know, it's quite interesting, because still today I work a lot with earth energies, which are kind of presented a lot of the time as dragons and serpents and things like that. And it's kind of a very slow kind of evolving project that I'm working on, called the Rainbow Serpent Project. About 10 years ago, I released a feature-length documentary about my journey around the Earth chakra system, and on that journey, I realized that my name Tor is connected to the Ormanganda serpent, which is the serpent that lives around the planet, and that Ormanganda serpent ends up killing Tor, and Tor killing it. They basically kill each other in the Ragnarok. And I thought, oh shit, is this the end of me? Basically, am I kind of like fulfilling this prophecy, as you know, possibly? But and I am in a way, but it's not in the kind of extreme death way, but it's more of a kind of an Archangel Michael taming of the dragon, not slaying of the dragon. You know, you see all these Catholic images of them splurting blood out of the dragons, but actually around here, the Celtic Christian churches, you always see them bringing the lance into the mouth of the dragon or onto the head of the dragon. So Tor is more of a dragon tamer, like Archangel Michael, and St. George as well. George actually is the Green Man. Giorgio is man of the earth, basically. So our patron saint here in England is the Green Man. Not a lot of people know that. And recently, actually, the rainbow serpent is resurfacing a lot. I've been feeling it, and lots of other people have been feeling it. And I had a random tour I did last week, actually, and I've been looking again into the Nordic connections. It really fascinates me. And I was talking to this lady about the research that I was doing, and the Odin actually means Den O, which means the O. And the O that they're talking about was when the planet was perpendicular, and the planet was moving around the pole, and they were living in the right on the North Pole, which was basically paradise, because they had the sun throughout the day, and they didn't have any seasons, so they didn't have to kind of panic about sowing and harvesting and for the winter, that they just had abundance of fruits and foods growing all through the year, and they just lived in paradise, and they didn't have to worry, they didn't have to fight, they didn't have to stress, they didn't have to do anything like that. And when they looked at the sun, it created this perfect circle above them, which was the O of Odin. And she said that the dragon that she communicated with was called Odin, and that actually is that Odin, she believes, is a dragon, which would work perfectly with the kind of Ouroboros style, that the circular serpent, which is also the Ormanganda serpent, which is actually more of the earth, not of the sky. But so the circle of the sun creating that Ouroboros serpent circle, and the Ormanganda serpent is actually the energy of the middle part of the toroidic field of the planet that they were tuning into. And to the Nordic people, the toroidic force field of the planet was actually the Yggdrasil tree, So it's all interconnected, and I find it very sad that people are not really open to seeing the truth and the kind of the poisoning that we've had in religion for at least the last 2,000 years, But I think it is changing. I think it's. I think the COVID, to answer your question, is actually enforcing people to go into their heart and actually see. I know it's happened for me and so many other people around me that we've had this opportunity as the transition into the age of Aquarius for since at least the last 20 years, coming into the year 2000 and coming out the year 2000. But it's been a total kind of like people going inward and observing their demons and exercising their demons and purifying themselves, preparing for the Aquarian age and releasing themselves of the old paradigm of fear, control, own, moving into the paradigm of love, celebrate, and release. Basically, that's where we're going. We're so close. We're so close. It's just the final people that are finding it hard to let go of their demons. It's kind of like the law of love said, right, okay, this is your last chance. If you don't make the most of this lockdown and really look at your shit, then sorry, too late. Do you know what I mean? And it sounds doom and gloom, but it's actually really positive because it is a loving, peaceful process, and the forces of love, which is actually us, will permit as much ignorance as man can muster, so it doesn't really matter. But it's opportunities. That's what it's all about. Opportunities of love, moving out of fear.
So yeah, lots of stuff happening there.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm
so I've seen your video that you made. What's it called again? I've forgotten the title.
The Rainbow Serpent Project.
The Rainbow Serpent. That's it. Yeah, I've seen that I saw that on Amazon Prime, because I don't know. Yeah. I was reading your stuff, and then I happened to see that on there, and I was like, oh wow. And I've seen some other people putting spiritual stuff on there, and it's like I really love that Amazon. I don't love Amazon as such, but that's a great opportunity for people to get their stuff to an audience that maybe wouldn't otherwise, be able to have access.
I didn't actually put it on there. It's being distributed by an American production company. So
okay.
I don't think individuals can put things on Amazon. I think it's.
I don't know. I saw another guy. and he just made it himself, and his was on there as well, because I actually wrote to him and said, wow, I saw this, and I think I was ill at the time when I was watching all these things. I couldn't get out of bed. Every now and then I get these sort of Meniere's attacks, and it makes me so ill I can't get out of bed. But you know, one of the benefits of that is that I actually get to sit and watch things I don't otherwise have time for. And I wrote to him and just said, he was so talented, this guy, and he just made it himself. But yeah, I don't know how he got it on there.
Well, maybe you can. I don't actually know.
Yeah, but you're writing now, aren't you? Writing down some of your wisdom.
I'm putting together a book of Glastonbury. Yeah, it's good fun. Yeah, I've got hundreds of books of Glastonbury that I've gathered over the years, and it's nice to kind of dip in and be inspired, and as I'm compiling it, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see all those books.
Yeah, it's hard to, you know, to kind of sit down and write it though in this climate, because, you know, I'm not a wealthy man, and it's pretty tough. You know, I've lost 90% of my normal, you know, tours. So, you know, I've had to take a job in a cafe and stuff like that, and trying to figure out, you know, kind of where the next rent is coming from, and things. Quite annoying, but yeah, it's all right. You know, I'm trying to be positive and, you know, making the most of the possibilities. So it's it's good. It's good. Many other ways of expansion, really.
Yeah, and it is, you know, it is really challenging us to look at how else can we get things out there. And again, you know, in this way, you'll be opening up to another type of audience, and it's just about, you know, how to reach those people. But I think so. You've set up a Patreon site now, and that is a really good way. It's a really good way. I mean, it's something that, you know, it takes a bit of time to build, and of course you know, you need it to happen faster rather than slower.
Yeah.
Do you want us to tell us a bit about how that works?
Well, the Patreon.
Yeah.
Well, so basically, I'm focusing on the book Tour's Tour of Glastonbury, which I'm writing, and I'm putting out on the Patreon account some of the writings and as they come. But also, after that, I'm going to be doing a Rainbow Serpent book as well, and also currently I'm doing virtual tours, which I'm planning to do more regularly over the over autumn and winter. So they're just on the Patreon account. There are different levels of support you can help me out with, which will either give you one of the books or two of the books, or have your name on there, or name and a photograph on the book as a supporter. So there are many different things, and also, you know, the benefits of being able to join in with the different virtual tours as well that are going on. So yeah, many things to support you know, the process, basically.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, I mean, Patreon is a platform that supports creators of all types, basically. And you can just literally just support somebody with like a $5 a month subscription, or you can go a bit higher, and then you're getting something back from them. So if you want to have a look at Tour's Patreon page, that's patreon.com/Tour Webster, and you can go on there, and he's got all sorts of nice goodies for you to get, and I've signed up to it, and there's the excerpts that are coming out about the book. It's really fascinating, and I've been coming to Glastonbury for years, and there's all sorts of little things there that you know, you won't have heard of before, because Tour has so much knowledge about this. So tell us a bit more about the virtual tours that you're doing.
So I've done a couple of Glastonbury, which went very well. I've had about 20 people turn up for one of them, and I'm doing one in in Bath and in London and Tintagel as well. And then from the 17th of October, I'm going to be doing more Glastonbury tours, and I'm doing a series of 7 every Saturday from I think 3:30 or 2:30. Can't remember exactly. And each of the virtual tours of those 7, I'm going to be doing a chakra visualization as part of it. So I'm going to start with the base in the first one I do, and then the following week I'll do the sacral, and the next week the solar, and all the way up to the crown. So people can tune into all of them or just one of them, however they feel. So it'd be kind of themed around the chakras, basically.
Yeah. So
And actually, I noticed today. I was up on the tour for the sunrise of the autumn equinox. Happy equinox, everybody!
yes.
And as I was walking up the tour, noticed something that I'd never noticed before on the tower, the St. Michael's Tower. It actually has seven levels on the tower. Of course it does, but you know, as the labyrinth on the tour has seven ledges as well, which is a labyrinth that's formed out of the shape of the tour. But I'd never noticed that before, and I've lived here 20 years. You know what I mean? So you notice little things all the time, and it's so exciting. That's why I love doing my tours, because every day someone brings something else. Even either they consciously know they're bringing it, or psychically I pick up on some information that they have embedded in their brain, or they drop a little gem that I kind of like, oh, that's a little seed that I grow on, you know. Yeah, exciting stuff.
So you must be missing the people coming and actually doing the tours with them physically, I guess.
I do, yeah, I do, and I miss going to Scotland and going up to Ireland as well, and I do tours to Scotland and Ireland, but next year's going to be twice as busy, all being well, because everybody that had booked a tour this year have postponed it till next year. So I have a mate that works with me as well, Michael, who does amazing tours as well in his own style.
How can people book these virtual tours with you?
So I have a website. You can get it on tours.tours, TORS.TOURS, or tourstourofthetour.com, or something else like that, basically. If you just put tours in, you'll generally find me.
Okay, and people can go on there and book one of these virtual tours with you. Brilliant.
Yeah, well, the virtual tours I'm doing more on Facebook, but I will like to put them on my website. Maybe today. I might do that later today.
Yeah.
In the moment, yeah.
And where are they on Facebook? Is that on your personal profile or a page or?
Well, they're on my personal, but also on the tour of the tour page as well.
Okay, tour of the tour.
Yeah.
Facebook
tour
page.
Of the tour.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Or tours. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you finding it's going with the writing? Do you like writing?
I do. Yeah, I'm quite fascinated by the process, and it's more. I'm more interested in how the book is going to work dynamically. Do you know what I mean? The words are already there, but I want to get the right feel for the book. Do you know what I mean? So it's an experience. It's not just a book. I don't want to throw it together. I really want to craft it into something that's really special. You know.
Yeah. So it would be something that people could read if they came to Glastonbury, but it also be something for them to read, like if they're sitting at home and they want to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, totally.
So yeah, it is the equinox today. I knew that, and then I'd forgotten it as well because I was too busy setting up my equipment.
Oh.
So the energies are feel a bit more settled now. I have a little boy, Benji. He's 7 and he's got autism, And he just, but all of us, none of us have been sleeping really very well the last couple of nights. And then last night we all slept just beautifully. And I'm sure it's the energies of the equinox were just like building up. And then it all just like settled down. So I'm looking forward to going out to some of the springs where I live. There's loads and loads of springs.
Yeah.
And I've taken people around on some tours around here just to work with the energies, really. It's like, it's all about working with the energies. And I love talking to people about also connecting to the land where they live. It is wonderful to go to special places, but wherever we live ourselves, we have this like really profound connection through the earth. We're rooted there, and the elementals around where we live and everything. And it's like, I think that's something that people are just starting to wake up to, that we all have this deep connection to the earth, and how we can like really be conscious of that and enjoy it, because there's a lot of depth of life in being aware of these things. But there's lots of things happening outwardly and inwardly, and these are interesting times, I think. We can
as the
say
old Chinese curse said, you live in interesting times. Thanks.
So what kind of things do you do sort of to stay connected to your spirituality, or is it something that's just there for you all the time?
Well, I try to meditate every morning, just briefly. I have a short set meditation just to connect me into my teachers and feel protected and grounded and tuned in, and to stay in service and stay in the right frame of mind, be creative and not get bogged down by people's shit and people's problems, because I'm quite sensitive to that. And I always try my best, and if you get knocked when you're trying your best, it hurts a lot, And also, I think this COVID bullshit, if you don't mind me using that term, is another thing that I'm confronted with is that for the last 9 years at least, I've been working for myself, and I haven't had to work for anybody else. And I've kind of like, now I'm confronted to kind of work for someone else and kind of try to navigate through their issues and their egos and stuff like that. And it's quite interesting. But I'm totally detached from it, from the process as well, which is healthy and it's handy, but it's confronting as well. It's many interesting things really going on right now. As always.
Yeah. And what kind of, when you go out and you walk on the land, what does that kind of do for you?
It's the most natural state that I find. I don't really try to analyze it too much. I just celebrate it. I think that, like I said, the new paradigm is love, celebrate, release. And the old paradigm was fear, analyze, and own. And I really don't think we need to do anything. I think the least we could do, the better, really.
Yeah.
Because we're naturally love and light. If we have to analyze love and light, then we're doing something wrong. If we have to read a book to tell us how to love, how to be love and how to be light, then you're looking at it in the wrong way.
That's it. That's it. You're on the mental level and not in the experience of it.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
have to be, not ask,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is, it's tricky. It's tricky because a lot of people don't have that opportunity so much. That the most of our culture is being told,
Mm.
where to go, what to do, who to speak to, government, church, school, hospital. We have to constantly surrender to other people's ideas. Every idea has come from someone's brain.
Mm.
Every It's
Mm.
nothing is unique.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't really like to read a lot of books. I only
Mm.
read books that really speak to me, that have a kind of a have a kind of humble presence and grounded presence. I don't like all these kind of guru books and stuff like that. They
Mm.
don't attract me, and
Mm.
I've never really got into them. I like I like I like people's experience, and I like to if if I'm reading a book that's preachy, I just get bored very quickly, and just put it down, go for a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like being out in nature and being out in the land, you're away from all of those like mental constructs and those thought forms, and it's just
Hmm.
an escape
Yeah.
from all of those boxes that we
Yeah.
put ourselves in, how we should live and what we should do, and they're just not there.
Yeah.
And out in the
But,
forest
so
with all of the tree spirits.
yeah. So don't buy my book. Go for a walk instead.
No, we're not saying that.
I am.
But I will put all of the links and everything in, for Tool's pages and Patreon and all the rest of it on the show notes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Before we finish today, is there anything else anything you want to say anything about, or any last bits we didn't get to?
How long we got?
You can have 5 minutes.
I feel like tuning in and seeing if my teacher has anything to say. Would that be all right?
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Yeah, I love that.
All right. Cool. But to give me a second just to get in the space.
Yeah.
Shalom. We too have been in this space that you are both talking about, this space of the unknown. And the space of the unknown is a place to be known. This means that to truly understand what is going on in the world at any time is to release your prejudgment, release anything that you believe you understand, and to enter into that moment with nothing. In the same way that you return to spirit, or the realms of light, as we prefer to say it, when you leave behind the physical realms, once you have learnt everything you need to learn upon the planet, you return to those realms of light with nothing. Whatever age you are, 100 or just a few days old, you are here on this planet, this physical realm, to detach from that physical realm. That is the journey. So why not practice it whilst you are still in this conscious vessel of the body, where you can touch for the first time, taste for the first time, see for the first time, breathe for the first time. What a wonderful gift that is very rarely used, because people want to know everything, control everything, and to order everything. Just be. Shalom.
Thank you. That was lovely.
Pleasure.
Very peaceful.
Mm.
And it's, when that peace comes, it's like you don't really want to talk anymore, do you? It's like, just be. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's talking has its place, of course it does, but it's kind of like they say, it's talking for the moments of peace. Do you know what I mean? Or explaining how to be in peace. And then it's those aha moments, isn't it? That we, that when we work in service and work spiritually, that we thrive on those aha moments. So they go, yeah, it's so simple. We forget how simple it is.
Yeah.
But and the story has been told and retold in so many different ways that we forget the most important thing of the story is the essence, is the seed of that story, which came just after that moment of silent aha. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming and talking to us today. It's been absolutely brilliant listening to you and some of your stories, and I could listen for hours too. I really could. So I'm looking forward to coming along on some of your virtual tours and reading the books when they come out, and hopefully I'll meet you one day in actual real life.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's getting less and less real life and more virtual life, and I'm not against that, because it's the kind of internet virtual world is a world of light. We're looking at light particles at each other here, which is probably even more true of who we are than the physical.
I love the magic of being able to reach out and connect with people in this way, and especially for me, having moved to Denmark for, I think it's my 7th year now.
Are you in Denmark now? Are you?
Yeah, I live here. My husband's Danish. And we moved here in 2014.
And what do you do in Denmark?
Well, I have pretty much moved a lot of work online, and even more since COVID. So,
Right.
I had to like really go through that process of like building a profile up on the internet, and that's what I do. I teach classes online, I hold sessions online.
Wow.
I do sometimes I go out and work a lot on the land like myself. Sometimes I do it in groups, but most of my like group work I do online, and so I've had to learn a lot of technical skills and things that I
There's
wouldn't have
great
believed.
places around Denmark that sacred places that people have even forgotten exist. So.
That's it. I've started a new hashtag called Sacred Scandinavia because
Brilliant.
I'm always there's just so much more to discover, and I started studying with Imelda Almquist last year, a 2-year course on Seidr. So I'm learning all about the Nordic cosmology, and there's so much more there than people realize, like as you were saying. And also it's another way of thinking to add to ours, and it can give another perspective to all the things that we think we know, and it's like looking from a completely different angle, and that it's really useful, and it's fascinating, and I love sharing that with people, and I do that a lot on Facebook and things like that. I go on there and I'm just going away about the latest thing that I've just discovered, because I love to share these things. So
yeah. I do channeling sessions on Skype as well, and Zoom, whatever people want to do. So feel free to share that side of me as well, which I really enjoy doing. I actually my mum lives just down the road actually, and we share Skype channelings with each other actually. Just she only lives 40 minutes down the road, but sometimes it's nice, instead of having to go out and do it. But yeah, it's another thing I do.
Great, that's great. It also cuts down on the traveling time. You do it by Skype or Zoom or whatever. It's like you don't have to take that journey. But I think it is really magical to be able to get to have those physical times. So, and I think we all appreciate it more now with COVID-19. It's like, I'm hoping to come back to the UK next month. I'm nearly out of tea. I drink Earl Grey tea and Lady Grey tea, and you can't buy it. Of course, I can get someone to post it to me.
Yeah, buy it online. Yeah.
But I'm not sure it's going to be happening the way the transmission rates are going up here and in the UK. It's looking really like I'm probably staying at home.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, that's it. And next year we'll see what happens next year. But yeah, so like I said, brilliant talking to you, and good luck with all of your ventures.
Thank you.
And hope to talk to you again another time.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, cool. All right. Cheers.
All right.
Bye.
All right. And thanks everyone for listening. Take care.
Kuhiao kaunai
ke kaula lo piana he kopu kapalili ai. Haina mai kapuana e kaliko puokukui. Au heia valeano e kaliko puokukui. Kui au konaia a kapu ke momori nei. I koi kahi manao I kahapili ko aloha ia. Ea ke kaula lo piana he kopu kapalili ai. Haina mai kapuana e kaliko puakukui. He noa no na ka ui.